Can you stop my PC honking at me, by user freak from Sweden. So today I got one of those fun cases where the customer is happy, I'm happy, and everything gets resolved. Me and my colleague were sitting around waiting for the last hour to pass in an extremely slow workday. When we get a bing at the front desk and a happy-looking man waves at me as I peek out from my cubicle. A smiling employee can mean one of two things. 1. He is clueless to the problem he's dealing with and it will take hours. Or 2. The problem seems minor to him and he feels silly for asking for help when in reality it's a real problem. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the number 2 option. Me, hey, how can I help you today? Happy, so it's pretty silly, but can you stop my PC honking at me? So, probably post beeps, I think to myself, can be one of many things. Me, / imitates a post beep / like that. Happy, yes. Exactly like that. It happens when my PC starts and my coworkers keep making fun of it. It's getting annoying, maybe you can mute it? Me, yeah, let's get that fixed for you. How long have you had this problem? Happy, oh, it for a year maybe? Me, a year? The machine has beeped at you like this on every startup for a year? Happy, yeah, it was funny at first, now it's annoying. So I restart the computer and it's super slow. These are modern machines but the post time is closer to 3 minutes. Eventually it honks at me with the Intel Management Engine error. Not a problem, we can fix that with a BIOS update. Happy, yeah, it does that every time. It kept working so I didn't want to bother you with it. Okay, so this user didn't mind the massive error screen he had at every boot. He also didn't mind the fact that it took him 3 minutes every morning to get the computer up and running. Different strokes, I guess. So I installed the latest BIOS and while I'm at it I set him up with the latest drivers for the rest of the computer. I restart and it posts in the normal 13 seconds without the honk. Happy, oh, you fixed it. Excellent. Man, that's so nice, and it's fast. Thank you so much. Now I have to announce to my coworkers when I arrive by myself again / chuckles. Me, yeah, no problem. Glad it worked well, have a good weekend. Happy, you too. And thank you so much again. I love when things work out so well. But I think I love happy and grateful coworkers more. The honking PC was fixed and my coworker could get back to work without announcing his presence wherever he goes. My slow Friday turned into a perfect start to my weekend. May your customers be as grateful and your weekend relaxing. There is nothing more permanent than a temporary solution, by user Nalino. Network technician for corporate weirdos. Client just built out a brand new office space, ultra modern, everything sleek, decked in the proper corporate grayscale for maximum soul suckage. Truly a wonder. Oops, slight problem, no space for the monster workstations the end users need. Apparently nobody told the interior designers that desk space was needed for full towers. Whatever can we do? Oh, say the desktop guys, we can put thin clients on the desks and have the end users VPN to their real machines, which will live in stacks in the IDFs. Client agrees. Oops, slight problem, nobody kitted out the IDFs to power hundreds of kilowatt monster workstations. Electricians' eyes twinkle, their wallets fatten, PSUs are added and the amperage upped. New racks are installed, everything gets dumped in the IDFs, don't worry, this will be a temporary solution until we phase out these workstations. Sure, January. Oops, slight problem, desktop guys don't have access to the IDFs to service the machines. Client won't let them, only network guys are allowed in. Very important, very secure. Okay, now the network guys have the responsibility for maintaining all the workstations, since they're in their space. Oops, slight problem, desktop guys have a contracted slot of 5 minutes to solve issues. Network guys have a contracted slot of 24 hours. End user can't remote to his machine? Call again tomorrow. But hey, the desks look pretty. User thanked me for not making them feel stupid, by user Turbo Jelly. Webcam not working. That and a room number is all I had to work with. Popped my head in to find the office empty. Sat down at their laptop, logged in, opened the camera app and slid the cover off the webcam. It was working. Fixed, I told myself as I shook my head. As it was, another, slow day, I decided to do a bit more testing. 5 minutes I had confirmed the webcam worked in different browsers and teams. Went back to my lair and typed up the ticket with the following text, note not the actual text but something close enough. Hello. I had a look at your webcam, performed some testing and maintenance, and it seems to be working. During my tests I noticed the protective cover of the webcam was on. This is really easy to miss on the laptop model you have, just make sure the little slider above your cam is to the right if you want to use it. Please test and let me know if the webcam is working as intended. King regards. Turbo Jelly. Later, when coming back to lunch, said user stopped me to thank me for the email. She told me she appreciated how I explained the issue without making her feel stupid. Felt good. TL, doctor jumped to the left, and then a step to the right. Delete everything you have ever built for us, by user Hurits. I'm not in tech support, in fact none of my job descriptions ever included anything remotely resembling tech support. Yet, life finds a way. As a long-time night shift worker, who often hanged out with the local IT folks, and demonstrated TIER1 support skills, looking up error messages, and even TIER2, willingness and ability to learn and improve, I was promoted to an honorary tech support role. It was a win-win, win-lose scenario for the guys as they could chill at home while on call. In the meantime I resolved low-level on-site issues and had something interesting, or at least different, to do in addition to my boring desk jockey job. The following story is not related to any of the above. Plugging VGA cables into desk stations to fix broken computers is not a story, it's business as usual. A few companies later, when the buzzwords business intelligence, data analysis, data-driven decisions, etc. started to pop up on the corporate bullshit bingo, I was already involved in these things at my current workplace. As usual, my job description had nothing to do with it, but I had to manually create a lot of reports, work with a lot of data. I'm as lazy as it comes. If I have to do the same task twice I'm going to spend an unreasonable time, trying, to automate it. The result of my laziness was a Power BI dashboard hosted on SharePoint. Behind the scenes and the shiny charts there was a giant clusterfuck, as I had to solve issues with the tools I had access to. Python calling SAP GUI scripts to run custom queries, then reading and transforming the data from the resulting exported Excel files just to spit it out again as a new and improved, TM, spreadsheet, PowerShell to manage SharePoint, then some AutoHot and Power Automate to maximize the chaos. It had a lot of moving parts, tried to do way too much, but had classes. It was also a horrible mess, but I tried to keep it as organized as possible. Code on GitHub in a private repo, regular and conventional commits, issue tracking, well, written documentation for everything, all the other best practices. My team's standard reporting tasks, which were taking usually an entire week at the end of each month, condensed down to a few hours, which in theory could have been less if I had trusted myself, but I always QAD the final result before releasing it for use. So, in addition to my standard role, which I performed above expectations according to my annual reviews, I was the local BI developer / data analyst / ad hoc tech support. At every salary increase cycle I always had to ask for a salary at the top of the range of the role which I had on paper, citing the above reasons. The company always fought tooth and nail, and it was always a painful and a bit humiliating experience. Fortunately, after a few years they've decided that now that you've built these solutions, we don't need you anymore, we only need to hire someone to maintain it. You are fired. According to my contract this would mean I'm still employed for another 60 days. I made sure to double-check everything, rewrite some of the documentation to be more clear, refactor the code, especially my early kludgy solutions, made backups on my team's OneDrive, fixed as many issues I could, etc. In short, I tried to make sure that everything goes smoothly when my replacement takes over. By the time my notice period was up they still couldn't find anyone, as they've been advertising a wonderful 3-in-1 package. Yep, my successor was supposed to do everything I was doing. My last day was at the end of the month and I pushed out one more update under the watchful eye of my supervisor. As soon as they saw that everything has updated, security came in and my boss said to delete everything from GitHub as it's an external site and a security risk. I tried to explain that it's tied to my corporate email and it would be best to keep it alive and transfer ownership to my successor. They wouldn't budge and told me to delete it. Okay then, let's nuke it from orbit. Told them that there's a local copy, on my work laptop and also on OneDrive, not in my private folder. They said IT will take care of it. Apparently that meant a deep cleanse of my laptop without retaining any of the data, while the she's on maternity leave woman's laptop was still in locker after 4 years, so the only remaining copy was in my former team's shared OneDrive folder. A month passed and my former boss called me asking for help. They still haven't found a replacement, unsurprisingly. Not wanting to burn any bridges and because I'm a exploitable idiot, I told them sure, I'll help, toss in a steak dinner voucher for 2 at a local mid-range restaurant and I'll help. They were dragging their feet, despite the fact that my ask was significantly lower in value than what the contractor rate would have been, and I knew they could expense it anyway. After a day or two they gave in. I hopped on my bike, signed an NDA, got a laptop and asked a team member to add me to the Teams channel so I can start working. Long live Python mpip install our requirements.txt, or so I've thought. As I started to poke around on OneDrive, I couldn't find my backup folder. After a while went to ask my former boss where did they move it, as I can't find it anywhere. Oh, we deleted them, didn't seem important. We're only a couple of files though, I'm sure you can easily do it again. Those few files were the result of hundreds of hours of experimentation, trying to figure out how the various systems work together. Just the pandas part was a couple hundred lines of unfucking data, and without documentation there was literally zero chance of recreating it in a short amount of time. Can't you just restore from that online hub thing? Not really, as you specifically asked me to delete it despite my protests. I left without getting my steak dinner. A few days later they've called me again asking me how much would it cost make a brand new dashboard. Apparently some corporate bigwigs overseas were using it for their C-level bullshit PowerPoint meetings. Remember, it included global data, and were pretty pissed that the fancy charts are gone. I may or may not have found a relatively recent local version of the Git repo on my Raspberry, which I may or may not have used to do some of the number crunching as my old shitty corporate laptop could barely handle anything. Yepa RPI 48GB outperformed it. May or may not have forgotten to mention this obvious security breach and build out my hours as I've been creating everything from scratch. TLDR, you are no longer needed makes shiny charts go away, which could have been fixed with a steak dinner if people weren't stupid. They were, and I could buy a few nice things. I have expensive hobbies, smiley face. I have problems with Word. Did you just lock me out? By user F4RM0R. Howdy folks, today I will tell you a story. It happened quite a while ago. I am talking years, not days or weeks. I worked as a tech support for a government body. The people in the top still has to call into us to change password, and not someone else. We are very strict about this. Remember, no one is allowed to know your password except yourself. I was having such a lovely day, only good people calling, sweet older ladies, and sweet younger ladies, even had some guys calling in and being nice. I even managed to solve an incident that had been laying for weeks at second tier cause they couldn't solve it. Anyway, on to the story. As this happened a few years ago, this is not a recollection of the conversation word per word, but it is pretty close to this. Me, hello and welcome to IT support, you are talking to F4RM0R, how can I help you today? User, hi, I am user. Yes, I have some problems with Word, could you please take a look at it? I can't get it to work properly. Me, sure. So I get the PC name, but when I look on the name the PC was registered to vs the name on the caller, it was a mismatch. It happens at times, so I didn't think much of it. I connect to the PC and share the screen, and I look around. When I wanted to do some basic troubleshooting, I got to see the name of the real person on top of Outlook. It was not the same that called into me, so I asked about it. Me, what was your name again? Just want to make sure that I heard you correctly. User, sure, I am user. Me, how come that I see the currently logged on user being vice president of government body? User, oh, I got his password as he is on vacation. Me, you realize that it is against IT security/cybersecurity rules? User, oh, it is okay, I got permission from vice president. Me, no, it is not okay, but I understand. Proceeds to scramble the password to a random generated one, minimum 15 char long, locks the account. Me, I understand your circumstances. Logs out user, but you are not allowed to be on his computer as you are not him. Giving out your passwords to anyone, even secretaries, are not okay at all. User, tries to log on. What did you do? I had tons of work up. How am I now supposed to look after his email? Me, I am sorry but I can't help you anymore. Have a good day. I proceed to tell the rest of the team taking calls that this happened, and I suspect the user would call in and ask to change the password of the vice president in question. I then email user management team and I call IT security team to notify as well. Nothing bad came my way. I in fact got praised for standing up to someone that high up, and the IT security person I talked to even said something along the line of "God dang, he should know better, this is not the first time, he did the same thing last year. We will take a good long call with him.